Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tomorrow's Weather Today. Today I have a forecast update on a possible winter storm for the Midwest and the Upper Midwest, the middle of next week around New Year's. But before we get into this video, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to all that celebrate and Happy Holidays um, to everyone else, and I hope everyone has a fantastic New Year's. Um, Also, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a new video. Before we get started. So this is still about a week out, this potential system. The signals are there for it to happen. And um, ignore those sounds. I'm sorry, that is Discord. Um, but the potential is there for a snowstorm, and we will look at the European and um, the GFS models. So taking a look at what we have right now, we have our pattern is like this with our exiting major winter storm that affected this area with an extremely strong cold front bringing in very cold air to the eastern United States. There is warm air out in the west and very cold in the east, getting down into the 30s and 40s overnight into Florida, southern Florida. We can see our next system getting its act together right here on Monday off the coast of California, and then redeveloping as a Colorado low um, on Tuesday with a nice fetch of moisture out of the Gulf uh, with a cold front down to its south. It's looking like, and potentially a warm front in that area getting its act together. Some snow, sleet, and even some freezing rain looking possible for Iowa and the upper Midwest. But the storm really gets its act together on Wednesday, late Tuesday into Wednesday morning, with fronts about something like that, with a nice fetch of moisture coming out of the Gulf, um, with snow developing to its north and its northwest, um, spreading throughout much of Wisconsin, Michigan, South Dakota, Nebraska, with rain now getting into Iowa. The storm heads off through Minnesota and Wisconsin, bringing some wraparound snow. And now we're getting a look more like this past storm, um, with snow behind the cold front, um, and a very long line of showers and thunderstorms. Um, Severe weather is going to be needed to be watched in this area next week. As the system moves along up into Canada, um, along the cold front, very heavy rain once again for much of the East Coast, and snow behind the front where it is cold again, and it should be out by by the morning of January 2nd. So, taking a look at our upper levels, um, we can see what our patterns looking like right now. We have our low pressure system up here with its associated upper level trough in the upper levels with the warm ridge out in the west. Taking this ahead, we can see this upper level trough moving in, and on Tuesday, remember we had this developing low out here, and that makes sense because there is diverging air in the upper levels, which allows for surface low. So this is the surface down here. Um, Lows have winds that converge at the surface, which isn't healthy. Think about it, because that would increase, because air is moving into it, that would increase um, air pressure. So what needs to happen is air diverge at the upper levels, which makes air escape and lowers the pressure down at the surface, which is exactly what's happening here with this upper level trough, but behind it, the diverging winds, the diverging air, so the air is escaping up here. And we really see this trough get amplified as we move into Wednesday, December 30th, as our low is starting to track upwards into Canada. And then by Friday, our trough has weakened considerably, as our low is moving into Canada, and we get this more linear system going, and then it mostly dies out by Saturday. looking at potential snowfall for this system, it's too early to get into specifics, but a good 6 to 12 inches, according to the GFS, for much of Minnesota and Wisconsin and Iowa, even though this probably wouldn't be, um, all snow because Iowa did get into the rain. And if we look um, into total accumulated precip, upwards of 2 inches of liquid precipitation, um, and a large widespread area of half an inch to 2.5 inches for the eastern United States, according to the GFS. Now let's take a look at the Canadian model here. Um, so it looks very similar with the Colorado low forming, um, but definitely weaker and a different track as it bringing it like this instead of through Iowa, which this would obviously keep Iowa in the backside, which would be all snow. Then this is a very much more organized system than what the GFS has, but still bringing rain for the East Coast, but much less snow if we take a look at total snowfall. Actually, it's bringing in more for Iowa, which makes sense, but again, a general 6 to 12 inches for the upper Midwest and even getting into Michigan this time instead of Minnesota. So there's still a large discrepancy about 450 miles difference between the GFS and the Canadian, so that needs to be worked out. But taking a look at at the European model, we can see the same look that the GFS had, obviously, because it's initialized. Taking this ahead, we can see our low form in Colorado with a band of freezing rain in this general area, with snow spreading up into Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, um, with looking like a line of storms in through Texas and Oklahoma, with the cold front and probably a warm front like this, which allows for that freezing rain. But moving ahead, it's taking a look like the GFS, except it's bringing this more into Iowa than Minnesota. So the GFS was taking a track like this. The European is shooting the middle between the Euros between the Canadian and GFS. Excuse me. But again, it's looking more like the GFS with this very linear look, bringing the cold front all the way down to um, Florida with a large line of showers and thunderstorms um, through the 1st of January, and then moves off the coast afterwards. Looking at possible snowfall amounts, we can see upwards. The arrow is going with upwards of 2 feet in Iowa. This is yet to be seen if this will happen, um, but again, the bullseye being Iowa, Nebraska, and Wisconsin, and even parts of Minnesota. So again, another 6 to 12 inches, possibly up to 18 to 24, according to the Euro. I will be keeping a close eye on that. And how much rain is it calling for? Is the Euro calling for? On the East Coast, upwards of 1 to 2 inches, possibly upwards of 3 to 4 along the mountains, where lift is enhanced. Looking at our 500 millibar vorticity, we can see our current system right there, and we can see our new system, or New Year's system, right in here with its two pieces of energy, one up here and then another one, the southern one, which is stronger. Um, so at this point, we will take a look, but you can see a very strong trough. It's very linear. You kind of want to see it bunched up, like up here, which we aren't seeing, but we kind of are. But it's looking more linear. This is forecast hour 126. I just want to take a look real quick. Okay, so I was looking to see if thundersnow is possible, but if we take a look at forecast hour 114 for Iowa, um, say 116. Doesn't look like thunder snow will be a problem. Possibly um, for far western Iowa and Nebraska, it's possible we may see some thunder snow. Obviously, it's too early to get into minute details like that. And then we can see our system move off the coast. Looking at 500 millibar height, um, again, we can see, just like the GFS, um, this is actually a better example of it because you can actually see the winds. You can see the winds diverging like this, which allows the low to form in this general vicinity of the upper level trough. And we could also see the WPC is hinting at a possible storm with Colorado low forming on um, Tuesday with some freezing rain potential in Iowa and possibly some snow um, for Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Kansas um, as this warm front, cold front start to develop. And on Wednesday, uh, looks like they're going with the mix of the GFS and European cold front there, um, trough axis down there, and our cold front extending down. T-storms likely, possibly severe, too early to tell. Um, Thursday moving on to the East Coast and off and done basically by Friday afternoon. Excessive rain today up for there. It's too early to see excessive rain for the next coming storm, but they do show upwards of a 90% chance on day 6 of a snowstorm affecting Wisconsin, and on day 5 a large area, 50 to 70% for Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas to see some accumulating snow. But that is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a new video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day.